Would you believe that just a few years ago I was swimming in a sea of anxiety and depression? It's true. And at the core of it was a feeling that I was not good enough, a belief that I was not worthy of love, and a fear of being vulnerable. So when you see my books and programs about self-love, this is an issue that I know intimately. And it's something that held me back from fully expressing myself and from being truly happy. My guest today has a lot to say to those of us who fear rejection, suffer from a lack of self-love, and have low confidence. She has what some people call magical skills at helping people break free from these sometimes lifelong patterns, and she can do it so fast it seems incredible. Marisa Peer, speaker, hypnotherapy trainer, and best-selling author. She is known to have the incredible ability to help people change really fast and permanently, giving them freedom from their issues, whether physical or emotional. Welcome to Liberate Your Authentic Self. I'm Dr. Andrea Pennington, author of I Love You Me, and founder of the Real Self-Love Movement. So Marisa Peer, welcome once again. It's good to have you back.
Oh, it's lovely to be back, and thank you so much for asking me.
Well, I'm super excited for you with the release of your new book. We're going to be talking about I Am Enough, your 8-part program to master your beliefs and set you up for phenomenal success. What was it that motivated you to put out yet another book?
Well, apart from people constantly copying and stealing my ideas and passing them off as their own, which became a little tiresome, I thought, actually, I can't own the concept of I'm enough, but everyone kept replicating my talks and amazingly even posting stuff on YouTube and just outright taking all my material and not even crediting me. And I thought, I really should own this quickly. So although I had a big book deal in the offing, I thought, I'm just going to bring it out now. So that was one. But the real motivation was that I meet so many people. I was in Costa Rica and this guy came up and said, oh my God, you changed my life. I've been an addict forever. But it was watching your YouTube video that changed my life. And someone else I met said, I tried to leave an abusive marriage for years. Then I heard you talk about not feeling enough and realized the message I was showing my children. And those words got me out of the door, got me to a shelter, got me to even got me to walk into a building and ask for a job. And I'm Enough has changed my life. And it's such an important message because so many people who have issues, like if you look at someone like, say, Amy Winehouse or Whitney Houston or indeed Heath Ledger, all of these people are getting treatment for an addiction. It could be bulimia, anorexia, drinking or drug addiction or even depression. But that's not the real issue. That's a symptom of what lies beneath. And what lies beneath is always, I'm not enough. I might be beautiful, talented, and wealthy like George Michael, but I don't feel good enough. And so many people with the best intention in the world, so many doctors and therapists treat the symptom. You've got depression, you've got an eating disorder, you're a binger, a compulsive hoarder, you keep buying stuff all the time, you're addicted to gambling or porn. And if they could only understand to treat what lies underneath the belief that I'm not good enough, you then treat all the other symptoms at the same time. And what's so wonderful is it's fast, it's effective, and it's permanent. And so it's a message I've been promoting for a long time. But there's stuff I get back from people going, oh my God, that stopped my kid being bullied. That stopped my husband cheating on me. That stopped me screaming at my kids. It stopped me not asking for promotion. I suddenly understood that everything going on in me was because I didn't feel enough. And I had no idea that the solution was so easy. Just change I'm not enough to I'm enough, and I have, and my world has changed. And of course, obviously, if you're teaching this stuff, you must do it yourself first, and I've done that myself. And it's just so revolutionary, and I think why it's revolutionary is its strength is in its simplicity. I mean, I could walk around and go, I'm a goddess. My mind goes, you're not really a goddess. Look, you're wearing your husband's socks with a hole in them. You're wearing stuff from Target. You're driving a 4-year-old car. How can that be a goddess? We sing that little song from Shrek, hey, I'm a rock star, I've got my rock moves. And your mind goes, how can you be a rock star? You haven't even got any money in your bank. So we argue against these flamboyant statements meant to make I'm a goddess, I'm a movie star, I'm a 10, I'm just gold. And our mind goes, who are you trying to kid? But when you say, I am enough, I always have been, I always will be, I'm good enough, lovable enough, beautiful enough. When you say that, your mind comes back and goes, well, of course you are, and you always have been, and you always will be, because its strength is in its simplicity. That's why it's so beautiful and transformational.
Yes. I'm glad that you mentioned your experience with people talking about how your work has helped them through addiction and eating disorders, because that's exactly what I noticed in my medical practice years ago. I found that no matter what I was treating, whether it was eating disorders, addiction, um, obesity, anxiety, I found that if there was this missing foundation of real self-love, like really the
Yeah.
authentic self, that people would not get better or they would sabotage. And in your book, you write that you really believe that it's the rejection, the disconnection that we experience early in life, which could be from anything, bullying, like you described, when our parents are estranged, or having some sort of a disability or past trauma, that leads certain people to think that good things are never going to happen for them. And in fact, you describe three types of people in your book. So tell me about the three types of people that you believe there are in the world.
Okay, so there are three types. One type is the type that is very scarred by an experience. For instance, they've had to read in class, everyone laughed at them, and they go, right, that's it, never again. That same type, when their lover breaks their heart, goes, that's it, never again. I'd rather be my own for the rest of my life than go through that pain. So type one, something happens and they allow it to affect them for the rest of their life by saying things like never again, that was so painful, I'd rather die than be hurt again, I could never get pregnant again in case I lost the baby. My aunt had a dog that she loved, and when it died, she went, I could never have another one because of the agony of losing. I'm like, but you had 18 years of pleasure. No, the pain of when Rusty died, and they can only see the pain, and they hold back from everything in case they experience more pain. They won't take risks. They don't like flying. They're scared of going in tunnels because they're always thinking about what could go wrong. And so they avoid everything. The second type are very aware of what could go wrong, but they want to get past it. And so they will take beta blockers or they'll drink. The first type won't fly in case the flight crashes. The second type will get on a plane, but they drink or they medicate or they're a complete nervous. And they do it, but the price they pay is very high. They live on their nerves. They're always anxious, don't sleep well. The third type, and each of these types may have had trauma, the third type kind of understand. My mind's job is to do what it thinks I want it to do. And my job is to make my mind certain of what I want with no room for confusion. So type 3 say, I want to speak on stage. I want to spend all weekend writing a business plan. I want to go to the gym and do 600 sit-ups. And they're very clear about letting their mind know what they want. People think people with success don't have fear. I actually last night went to see my goddaughter perform. She's a fantastic musician. She said, I'm really nervous. I'm so nervous. I'm going on. It won't stop me. So she's got that third mentality. I'm scared, but I'm going to talk myself out of it. Whereas type 1 talks themselves into it. Oh, if I went on stage, I could go red, I could get embarrassed, I could forget the lyrics. So type 1 talks themselves into the fear. Type 3 talks themselves out of it. And type 2 use all kinds of medication to try and talk themselves out of it. And they succeed, but they pay a cost. We've all got to learn to be type 3.
Yeah. And which, is all about your work. It's about training the mind, and you believe everyone can. But my question then is, we see people, adults today, right, who have been through psychotherapy, they've been to personal development workshops and self-help books, and yet, even though they're smart, even though they're aware, they can't seem to get past some of their past traumas and hurts, even though they get it intellectually.
Yeah.
Why do you think it is that the conscious mind prevents us from getting past our hurts?
Well, first of all, how we survived on the planet was being negative. People think, really? Of course, if you imagine going back 1,000 years, you didn't think, I wander out of my cave and float around the Serengeti. Isn't it beautiful? You thought, I better be on the lookout for snakes and lions. And we had to learn to be sort of negative. And as a mother of a daughter, I would still do that. I go, darling, when you come home, you wear a coat over that short skirt. You don't go out with your headphones on, walking down the road, talking to someone on the phone with like a tiny little dress on in the middle of the night. You must expect that there's some weirdo. So you walk facing the traffic, not behind us. I'm preparing her for danger. I'm preparing her to be negative in the same way that when I go to bed, I check all my doors are locked. When I get in the car, I put my seatbelt on. I'm expecting the worst, but preparing for the best. So we do that now, but years ago we did it much more. We were always had to prepare for danger. So why women always went to the bathroom in groups, and they still do when they're out. When you lived in a tribe, you would never go to the toilet on your own. You took a whole group of women, and they literally watched your back. And interestingly, I would never say to my mum, I'm going to the bathroom, come with me. But if I was out in a restaurant, I said to my mum, oh, let's go to the bathroom together. It's our caveman wiring that is wired to protect us. But it protects us by making us think of the worst. But some people do that all the time. That's going to go wrong. It's all going to end in tears. What's the point of going there? We'll never find anywhere to park. I know that's not going to work out. Who's ever going to date a single woman? I know if I go on Tinder, I'll just get ghosted. And it's supposed to protect you from being hurt, but it actually hurts you so much more. So that's the problem, that we are hardwired to be a little bit negative. It's how we made it, and all our wiring is to make sure we make it, but we're not supposed to be that negative. So that's the big problem. And the second problem is that going to therapy and talking about the pain, I think it's crazy. I can't think of any other method where you go, let me talk about the pain. I wouldn't go to my doctor and go, I broke my arm. Can I come in every week and talk about the pain? I've got a root canal. Can I come in every week and talk about the pain? I've got a prolapse. Can I come in every week and discuss it? They go, no.
Let's fix it.
You've got toxins in your gum, and if we don't take it out, they'll spread. If we don't remove the cancer, it will spread all over your body. You can't just leave it there and discuss it every week. And yet in therapy, we have what I think is a very broken model. Let's discuss the pain every week. And in discussing it, you actually are reliving it. I know that because one of my friends who went bankrupt said she used to go and give a talk about what it was like to be bankrupt. And then she realized that every week she re-experienced the shame. And she said, I'm not going to do that anymore. I know people who love AA, people who say, you know what, I just grew out of AA because I got sick of going, I'm an alcoholic and I always will be, because look, well, I'm not. I haven't had a drink for 7 years. I don't want to keep saying that every week because I'm perpetuating the pain and the belief that I'm powerless. And human beings are not powerless. They're very powerful, but we have to show them how to be powerful and how to not relive your trauma, and how to be resilient and strong, and how to be group 3. I tell my mind what I want, and my mind's job, and there's no doubt about it, is to get what I want. But first, I've got to do my job. It's like saying, I want more money. You could go, well, here's $2. I'm like, no, that's not what I want. One of my friends really liked this guy in a band, and she constantly meditated on him. And one day they met, and he spent the night with her, and she never saw him again. So that's what you wanted. You kept saying, I want to be with him. So it was, I want to be pregnant. I'm like, you don't want to be pregnant. You want a healthy, full-term, robust baby. You can be pregnant 8 times. It doesn't mean you have a baby. And many of my clients focus on getting pregnant. They use like falling pregnant, trying for a baby. Don't try for a baby. Make a perfect, robust, full-term, super perfect baby. And if you're clear with your mind, you see what you present to your mind presents to you. And the more clear you are, the more clear your mind is. So when a Marine goes running, they don't go, oh, I've got to run in the snow. Oh, it's muddy. Oh, it's cold. Oh, I could be at home watching Netflix. They sing, bring it on. I'm a Marine. I like it. And other people go, oh, I don't really like running. It's so cold. And I could be at home and my butt hurts and my knees hurt. And your mind goes, go home. You hate this. But if you can run going, I love it. I love it. I like it. I like it. I've chosen it. I've chosen it. Your mind doesn't ever disagree with you. It doesn't really care whether what you present to it is good or bad, right or wrong, helpful or indeed unhelpful. It just lets it in. So you might as well present to it better stuff.
Mm-hmm. So how is what you're presenting in the book, I Am Enough, how is it different than affirmations? Because we've heard plenty of people say, okay, I am abundant, I am healthy, I am beautiful, and it doesn't change their mind.
You see, the very words you just said, I'm abundant, I'm healthy, I'm beautiful, they are very, very abstract. And if I wrote something called The Rules of Your Mind, and one of the rules of your mind is that the mind likes words that make a vivid, dramatic, detailed picture. So if you said something like, I have extraordinary coping skills, whatever life throws at me, it's okay because I have phenomenal coping skills. I'm one of life's copers. I can cope with anything. That makes a picture. If you said, I'm so wonderful at speaking, I always know what to say, my mind is clear, I love my subject, I engage with the audience, your mind goes, I've got it, I've got it. But if you say, I'm a glorious spirit embodying, I don't know, deep soul mission purpose, your mind goes, actually, I have no idea what you're talking about. And I have clients who come in and they do the same thing. I want to be in my full soul integrity of my mission's purpose. And I say, I don't actually know what you want. And I can't give you what you want until you tell me what you want. So here's the thing. When I work with people who say, I can't get pregnant, my husband hasn't got enough sperm, and my eggs, I'm a bit older, so the shell is a bit hard. I go, okay. So I put them in hypnosis, and I say very clearly, your husband has military sperm. They swim straight. They're like the crack SAS is the English, or the Green Berets, whatever you call them. They're like Marines, like a Scud missile, and they get to that egg and they smash through it. And your perfect grade A sperm combines with a perfect grade A super resilient egg, and now you made a grade A embryo. The little embryo goes on a 5-day cruise into you, and there it attaches like Velcro, and it grows perfectly on target, and the embryo becomes a fetus. And in 40 weeks, it's become a perfect, robust, bouncing, super resilient baby. And the mind says, I understand all of those pictures. You give me such clear detail. The sperm is like a Scud missile. It crashes through the egg. It makes a perfect embryo. It keeps replicating, goes on a little cruise. It attaches into the womb like Velcro. Whereas when you say, the universe is sending me a beautiful being to harvest, and the mind doesn't mind because I don't know what you mean. You've got to be very specific with your mind. Here's the thing all mothers know. What does a child do when they want attention? Throw themselves on the floor, scream, have a tantrum, because they just want any attention better than none. And if you say, I want attention, you might have a nervous twitch. You might have body odor. You get lots of attention, but that's not what you wanted. You have to go, I want positive attention for being extraordinarily gifted in my area of excellence. I want a guy that loves me, adores me. I actually need to adore him back. I don't want that one that goes, oh my God, you're getting on my nerves with all this adoration. I don't even like you. You're growing on me, but like fungus. Not the way people say he'll grow on you. Yeah, growing on me, but it's not the right thing. So people do that. I want this great guy. But then they have to want you, or I want someone. So you've got to be very clear. This is what I want. For instance, I always wanted a guy that had his own business, because having someone who's successful that goes, I only get 2 weeks holiday a year, I'm in the office at 7, I come back at 10 at night, I'm exhausted. I wanted a successful guy, but he had to be successful enough to take loads of time off and travel with me all over the world. He had to love cooking, because I don't love cooking. And luckily, I got exactly what I wanted, because I thought about what I wanted. But then I had to think about, well, what would he want? What would that great guy want? Because you think, oh, a great successful man wants a great. They sometimes don't. They sometimes say, I don't want that. I want a woman at home looking after my kids. One of my clients was a banker, was furious because their boss, who they all liked, married a girl who worked in a sandwich bar across the road. They couldn't understand it, but she was always bringing him his tea and making him his lunch and making a fuss of him. She practically waited on him hand and foot, and he thought, that would be a great mother of my kid. I don't want a city trader raising my child who's up at 5, the trader coming back at 9, exhausted. And so, what does your guy, the guy that you want, what does he want? The boss that you want, what does he want? Think outside the box a bit. Because if you can give them what they want, they'll never leave you. But you also have to get what you want. And everything without question is about how you dialogue with your mind, how you talk to your mind. You must talk to your mind in a very clear way. You must understand this one phrase because it will change your life. Every word you say and every thought you think forms a blueprint that your mind, body, and psyche use everything at their disposal to make come true. So when you can say, oh, the words are a blueprint, I know that guy's going to ghost me. Who wants a girl with cellulite? Who's going to date a single mother? Who wants a guy with no money? And when you say that, you actually are making it become real because you make your beliefs. And then your beliefs make you. And then the universe starts to prove your beliefs to be real. I believe all dogs are going to attack me and they're vicious creatures. Well, now I'm near a dog, I'm so nervous. They do want to attack me because they don't like my anxiety. I believe that all horses bolt. Well, if you get on a horse with that level of panic, the horse will bolt. Try saying, I love dogs. They're the most loyal, gorgeous, friendly creatures. And you'll find that what you believe becomes true.
So then with this book, you suggested actually in our last interview that we could write on the mirror.
Yeah.
I am lovable, or in this case, with this new book, I am enough. Now that is very simple. It's very succinct. What is the purpose of the mirror? Is it that we're looking at ourselves and that's what helps us turn that into a picture for the mind?
Well, here's another rule of the mind. The mind learns by repetition. It loves what is familiar and it actually likes to resist what is unfamiliar. If you've never had love or indeed wealth and you get it, you're going to resist it if it's not familiar because our caveman wiring said this, what's familiar keeps me safe and what's unfamiliar, I must run away from that. So by writing it on your mirror where you clean your teeth every day, you see it, so you learn by repetition. Because you see it every day, it becomes absolutely familiar. You can, of course, put it on your fridge, in fridge magnets. You can have it stenciled onto part of your computer, onto the keyboard. You can have it on your phone wallpaper. You can print it on cushions. Someone who read my book said she had it stenciled on her children's pillowcases. So the last thing they saw, and the first thing was, I am enough. We bought iced cookies with it. I have it on little plaques all over my house, on cushions, on plaques. I have a little chalkboard with it on. I might write it in some sand if I had a little sand sculpture. There's so many ways. So I have this jewelry that says I'm enough. And I have it in lots and lots of ways, so many ways to say I'm enough. Because I know that when I say it, my mind is going to go, you know what, you say this so much, it must be true, because why would you repeat something that's not true? And here's a great way to put it in your life. Change all your passwords. They contain I'm enough. Of course, you need squiggles and letters and dashes. We don't want to make hackers' life easy. But if you are typing out every day many times, I'm enough, dot, 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 your mind just learns by how much you say it that it's true. For instance, if you said to your child, you have a terrible memory every day, you and I know that you could guarantee that child will have a terrible memory. If you say to someone, you always forget everything, why can't you get that right? Why are you clumsy? Why do you spill things? It becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. Well, here's the good news. So does saying, I am enough all the time. First, it's what you say, then it becomes who you are. First, it's what you do, and then you become a walking, talking expression of knowing you're enough. And even better, when you know you're enough, the whole world knows you're enough too. And as you elevate your own sense of self-worth and self-value, everyone will elevate their sense of self-worth and self-value.
And that is definitely what we want in the world.
Of course.
Now, we have a lot of people who listen to my show who are coaches or they're therapists. Can you tell us a little bit about RTT, your rapid transformational technique that I've been watching you for the last couple of years. You're now teaching it in so many places around the world, helping to spread this technology. Tell me about it.
And we've got so many doctors who just love RTT. So RTT, Rapid Transformational Therapy, is something having been a therapist for so long, I realized that clients want to be fixed very fast. And they want a fix. So they don't really want to keep tapping and singing happy birthday to me every time they're in a nervous situation, because it becomes work. They don't want something that wears off. They want something permanent and powerful and rapid. And so over 30 years of working with my own clients, some of them are extraordinarily successful, I began to see what really worked and what didn't work. And I began to see what all clients wanted. And then I realized that every client, bar none, only had one of three things wrong with them. The first thing was, I'm not enough. So I work with millionaires because I need to make more money. I need more. I'd work with people who had so much, I need another award. They just couldn't get enough because it's all filler for the emptiness inside that originates from I'm not enough. And then the second group, very interesting, they had a belief that I want something that's not available. I want to be happy, but I've got the depressed gene. My mother, my grandmother, my sister, I've got a gene and I can't do anything. But I want love. My dad left when I was 2. I'm not lovable. I want to be smart, but I didn't go to school and I didn't get good grades. And so they have this block. I want it, but it's not available. And the third group, equally interesting, had this belief that I'm so different. I can't connect. I'm the only kid without a dad, the only poor kid in a rich school, or vice versa. And I'm different. And I would say to each of those people, you know, your belief is not true. Our greatest fear is to be different. And if you think you're different, guess what? The very fact that you think that means that you are the same as everyone. Everyone is the same as you. But the biggest group by far were the not enoughs. Every addict I worked with, I've worked with thousands, all had this belief, I'm not enough. Every hoarder, every binger, every bulimic, every anorexic, every drug addict, every person sabotaging and acting out, it all unpicked back to I'm not enough. And it was so easy to fix using RTT. So RTT is an unusual therapy in that the client comes in and you ask them very specific questions. We don't spend half an hour going, how do you feel? And how does that make you feel? Because they don't even know how they feel or they wouldn't be there. Someone came in to me and said, I've always lacked confidence. I go, no, that's not true. Every baby is born with phenomenal confidence. Well, if you stick them in a cupboard, they cry for hours. So rather than ask them, well, what was going on and why do you think that happened, I just count back and let the mind show me some various scenes. And when I've got the scenes, with my client, which isn't called left hand, right hand, in your left hand, you're holding 4 snapshots, the 4 scenes we went back to. In your right hand, you're looking at what's going on with you today. You tell me how those scenes then have caused those scenes. And they will always go, oh, yes, I see. You know, my dad left when I was 1. Then my mother married another guy and he never liked me. Then they had a baby and he loved that baby. And I can see that I formed this belief that I'm not lovable. But the problem is for children, they don't just form a belief, they form a belief and a tag. So a child will have a tag, I'm not lovable, and it will always be this way. My mum is crying because she hasn't got enough money to buy me shoes or pay the rent. And I'm 5 and I don't know how to get the money. And then they form a tag and it will be like this for the rest of my life. My dad hits me and my mum. I can't stop him because I'm so weak and it will always be this way. So we go back and look at the scenes, which in itself are fascinating. But then we look at the tag. What did you tag onto that? It's only ever going to be three things. It will always be this way. It will never change. It will be like this for the rest of my life. And then we take the tag off using particular techniques. And one of the best things that I do is after they've looked at three scenes, they have to go back again and say, but that's not me because I'm not three. I don't have to live with a stepdad I hate. I don't have to go to school every day with a teacher who hates me, because as an adult, if someone spoke to me like that, I would walk out. So they kind of justify why they're not that person, because I found that many people walk around like they are, and they'll give you their story. You know, when I was born, I was premature. My mum had to feed me through a dropper. I nearly died. I'm like, but that was 50 years ago.
Right.
And you're a beast. Yes, but I'm a beast because I nearly died. I was so underweight, and my mum was so worried, and she fed me every hour. I said, but that's not you. That was a newborn baby. Or they will give you a story, you know, my brother was mean to me and no one liked me, and now I still feel the same. And you have to point out that they've just, here's the saying I say, you play the only part you've ever known until that part becomes your own. Yes, you're one of five kids. Yes, they stole your fries and your hot dogs, and you learned to cram that food in your mouth super fast because 8 kids, you were the littlest. And then you began to think, I want to be big. I want to be big because they're stealing my pillow and my blanket and my stuff. And if I was big, I could fight back. So at some level, you asked to be big. That makes perfect sense. But now you're 52 and you don't live with 8 other kids. You don't have to. You know, one of my clients used to put his arms around his food like that and shovel it in his mouth so fast. His wife said, you know, he's a multimillionaire. It's so embarrassing. But he was brought up in a children's home and he had a stutter, and all the kids would take his food and he couldn't tell anyone because he had a stutter. So he learned to hold the food like that and shove it in really fast while holding a fork to try and stab someone who tried to take it off him. And she said he still does that. If our child took a chip off his plate or fry, he goes mental because he's still feeling like that little boy. And so what RTT does is it goes back and looks at that part and acknowledges it, but then says that's not you. You're not that child. And it reminds them, and it gives them an amazing recording. And it has different techniques that many of them are in the book, I'm Enough, but different techniques to shatter and smash that old pattern we play. If you look at Marilyn Monroe and Princess Diana, they always play the part of a beautiful child that no one loved. I mean, everyone loved Diana. Everyone loved Marilyn. And I met Diana, but in the room was really not a beautiful woman, but a very damaged little girl going, no one loves me. Everyone's going to leave me, just like Marilyn. And I see so many stars like that. You know, you see them on the screen. When you meet them in person, they're fragile, they're damaged. They're going, oh, do you love me? Do you really love me? Are you sure? Was that good enough? And they're still a little child saying, please like me. And in fact, the world doesn't respond to please like me. It responds to, hey, I like me. I happen to think I'm great and you're great too. And if we can see each other's greatness, that's great. But if you can't see mine, it's okay because I can see it. But when you go to it again, please like me. Please be nice to me. Am I okay? Do I look okay? Are you sure? People get bored with reassuring you. I mean, I have many clients who are stunning models who got left for normal girls because they asked them, oh, it's like living with a racehorse. The work, the effort, the demand, the constant group, I've had enough. And many beautiful women get left for ordinary. I mean, look at Diana, who got left for Camilla. And that's a great love story. Charles loves Camilla. She couldn't be less needy if she tried. She's always had great love from her father and brother. She thinks she's gorgeous. Look at Meghan Markle. She's such a role model for women because she knows that she's extraordinary and that Harry is lucky to have her. And if we could all be like that, our life would be better. But what we do is we try to make other people like us. We say to other people, can you let me know I'm okay? You do it yourself. Know you're okay because the world will agree with what you think of you. And all you have to do is think great things of you, and the world will always agree with you.
I love it. I love it. Well, on that note, I want to remind people that you can pick up your own copy of the book, I Am Enough by Marisa Peer. It's on Amazon and other
Here it
places
is.
that books are sold. Yes, perfect. Mark your mirror and change
Yes,
your
change.
life.
Yeah, and it can be your blackboard, it can be a chalk wall in your house, doesn't have to be a mirror, but mark I'm enough somewhere in your home and watch as your whole life changes.
Yes. And you can visit marisapeer.com to learn more about RTT if you'd like to become certified. You can look at that as well. And Marisa also has a free mini course on confidence. So if you order the print book and you're waiting for it to come, you can at least get started with her free mini course on confidence. Marisa, it's wonderful to have been connected with you again. Congratulations on bringing this book to the world.
Yeah, and you know what's so lovely is in the last 3 months, I've won like 8 different awards for I'm Enough. I've won 5 Stevie Awards. I won a People's Choice Award. I'm going on Saturday to get some more awards. And I love the fact the world is saying, wow, this works. It's not a thick book, it's quite a slim book. Because therapy shouldn't be hard, changing shouldn't be hard. My passion is little tiny tweaks that have results out of all proportion to the effort required. If you have, like you and I have a child, a house, a job, a partner, that's quite enough work for a lifetime. We don't want to write hundreds of affirmations, read 3 books a week, write 1,000 goals in a book. I mean, who's got time for that? We just want to do something you already do, dialogue with ourselves, only better. We all talk to ourselves every day. When you can talk to yourself in a phenomenal way, your life becomes phenomenal and you're just doing what you've already done, but better. And since we're all born with confidence, you're just reactivating and regenerating and remanifesting what you already had. And it's still there. It's just been buried under all this stuff that you can clear out. And then your life is amazing.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, here's to setting people free to live more of the amazing life that is within them. Thank you, Marisa. Thank you very much.
So much. Thank you. It's been an honor. Thank you.
So, my friends, there you have it. Support the author by getting a copy of the book and definitely try out that mini course. And until we meet again, remember, my friends, that you are a gift to the world. So share your presence with passion. Much love. Bye. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button and share this with someone else who may need some inspiration on liberating and loving their authentic self. And subscribe to my channel. Be sure to turn on the notifications so that you can see when I'm live and when I release new videos.